Welcome everyone to the baccalaureate ceremony of the class of 2020. Although this year's celebration is a bit unconventional, we hope you all enjoy the program. We would like to thank you all for tuning in to tonight's event, as many students, teachers, and community members worked hard to make this possible. Tonight we will celebrate the graduating class of 2020 and our accomplishments, as well as look forward to our futures. We hope you find inspiration in our speakers, songs, and verses to help you through these troubling and unique times. Welcome and enjoy.
Hi, my name is John, and I want to welcome you to the virtual baccalaureate service. And I know the first thing you're asking is, what is a baccalaureate? It comes from the French. All good things come from the French. You know, French fries? It comes from the French, and it's this idea that a long time ago they used to wear laurel wreaths on their heads while they were graduating. It's where we get baccalaureate from. And so the occasion was very reflective. So I thought, maybe it's appropriate for us to spend a minute just reflecting, just thinking. And I know some of you are like, okay, so why don't we swipe out of this and go to Netflix? Because nobody really wants to reflect. Because honestly, the last time you really reflected was probably at a funeral, or when you were in trouble, or when your parents were like, I want you to reflect on what you did. Nobody really wants to spend a whole lot of time reflecting. But if you think about it, we reflect dozens of times every day. I mean, the first thing you do when you get up in the morning is you go to the mirror and you check and make sure your hair's done, your makeup, whether it's with clothes you're wearing, whatever it is. So look, we're used to reflecting. We look at our reflections all the time. And so we want to just take a minute and reflect because, look, you're finishing high school and you're waking up to the larger opportunities of life. Many of you will go on to some kind of further schooling that will prepare you for a career. And some of you will jump into jobs right now that will start you down your path. So listen, it's morning time in your life. It's time to get up and look in the mirror. Before you leave the house, take a look in the mirror, look at yourself a little bit. Look how far you've come. I mean, you've come a long way. Remember when you first learned to walk? You probably don't remember. Your parents probably remember. Back in the days when you thought that everybody was there in this world to watch you do something, right? Like your first steps, your first words, the first book you read, the first bike you rode. You had some bumps along the way, but man, look what you did. Look how you've accomplished things. Man, you've come such a long way. You built tree forts. You played lots of sports. You made friends, and you learned the value of support and encouragement that comes from a community. And then you lost some friends as you learned that your values, your dignity, and who you are as a core self is more important than fitting in. So you've come a long way. And over these next few weeks, we're going to celebrate the conclusion of your academic career up to this point. But you know what? Some of the best lessons you've learned have come from friends and family. And so sometimes reflection has two outcomes to it. You got good things, but there are also some bad things that you might see in the mirror. You might be listening to all this and you feel defeated. Maybe the things got a little tough over the last few years. Maybe you listened to the lies that said you weren't enough or that you weren't really sure who you are. And you got involved in some things that you weren't exactly proud of. Maybe now you're stuck in a way of thinking or a habit that you wish you had power over. And guess what? That's life. I know it. Your parents know it. Your teachers know it. It happens to the best of us. So listen, the temptation is to ignore that feeling or to try to numb it in some way. But see, that's the beauty of good reflection. It doesn't make you feel good all the time, but it tells you what's there. It lets you see where you're at. And if there's something in you that needs to change, you go back to the people that got you to this point, the true friends, the true family that you have. If you see something that needs to change, you change it. That's the good part, is that we're just at the beginning. As we talk about graduation, we're going to talk about commencement ceremonies, right? And how do we do commencement ceremonies? What is commencement? It's another French word. There's all these Frenchisms. There's another French thing going on. Commence means to start. Do you realize that? You're not ending, you're starting. Listen to me. Your whole life is ahead of you. And it's an unpainted canvas. It's an unwritten story. The sky is the limit. And if you don't like what you see as you look back, then change what we'll see as you look ahead. If you like what you see, but you're not really sure what the future holds, and you're a little bit fearful, guess what? The future is just made up of a string of nows. And each now, just be true to yourself. And the future eventually comes. See, Jesus had a moment like this with one of his disciples. His name was Simon Peter. He saw Simon Peter, and Simon Peter was a fisherman, and he really wanted Simon Peter to follow him. So you know what he did? He goes up to this fisherman, and he says, look, I want you to follow me. And the fisherman's like, no, no, no. Simon Peter's like, yeah, I'm not the guy. You know, because back then, fishermen didn't follow preachers. They got smart people to do that. Fishermen were just, all about fish. So Jesus is like, look, I really want you to follow me. So he does this miraculous catch of fish, and Peter's like, oh my gosh. Simon Peter looks at this, and he's like, look what you've done. And he falls down, and he says, look, you got to take off. I'm not the guy you're looking for. I'm a sinner. And Jesus looks at him and goes, no, listen, don't be afraid. From now on, I want you fishing for people, not just for fish. See, Jesus was looking at who Simon Peter would become, not what he'd already become. And as we start this baccalaureate, this is just the intro, we have to reflect. It's not about who you were. It's not about where you come from. It's about where you're going. Realize that you are in a state of becoming. And listen to Jesus. I don't care what you believe about Jesus, whether you believe in God or not. I want you to listen to what he said. It's not crucial what you believe. What's crucial is that you hear what he's saying. Don't fear. Don't fear the future. Don't fear change. Don't fear possibility. Don't fear what happened in the past and how it's going to define who you are in the future. It doesn't. See, that is the beauty of reflecting. It tells us the truth of where we are now, but it has no power over where we can go. And this is the start. This is the commencement. Look how far you've come. And now look at how much you have yet to become.
Let's pray. Dear God, I thank you for this day. I thank you that we have life and that life continues despite this challenging time. I thank you for technology that connects us all in this difficult time. And I thank you that we can have this virtual baccalaureate service, even if we can't gather in person to worship. I pray for all of the seniors and their families and the community. I pray for all of the losses that everyone is experiencing right now. I pray that you would just give everyone comfort and peace in this time, that we would be able to find encouragement despite all of the hardships. I pray that this service would just be an encouragement to the seniors and their families and the community. I pray that we would find hope and that we would be able to look forward to what is yet to come, even when right now it seems like everything is slipping away. I pray that we would just know that this is not the end and that there are many, many things yet to come. I thank you for all the blessings we still have, even if we've lost many things right now. I pray that we would just remember to appreciate what we have and not take anything for granted. And I pray this all in your name.
Joshua 1:9 says, "Haven't I commanded you? Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid or discouraged, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go."